Day 2 kicked off with an opening ceremony, followed by a high-level presidential dialogue.
Président El-Sisi, président de la République arabe d'Égypte, et les invités d'honneur.
The opening ceremony saw high-level personalities, including heads of states, ministers of finance, central bank governors, private sector representatives, academics, and more.
Media houses, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vincent Mehile, Secretary General of the African Development Bank Group, and I'm pleased to welcome you to the 2023 annual meetings of the Boards of Governors of the African Development Bank and the African Development Fund in this beautiful city of Sharm el-Sheikh.
The high-level presidential dialogue, which took place following the opening ceremony, highlighted the need for reforming the global financial architecture and ensuring a transition, one that is more nimble, inclusive, and flexible in responding to the changing nature of global challenges that countries face today.
Africa will need $2.7 trillion to implement the continent's nationally determined contributions by 2030. Yet, the global financial architecture provides only 3% of global climate finance for Africa.
I come to realize the most significant issues constraining Somalia's development and progress is not lack of elaborate planning, but rather the exclusion from global financing.
When you are asking me what is required, what's needed to be done, I think all African countries and all African leaders will know what to do. The issue now is how do we translate all those ideas into actions. And this is what we need to do.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we need inclusive multilateralism with equity and fairness in representation in the Bretton Woods institutions. Achieving the reform of the global financial architecture requires that Africa's voice be strengthened, for example, on the board of the IMF, where the continent has just 2 seats. At the end of the day, the global financial architecture should be more responsive, inclusive, accountable, and re-engineered to support the accelerated development of the world, especially Africa.
Africa has experienced a reoccurrence of climate risks, shocks, and extreme weather conditions.
The 54 countries of Africa have done the least to cause climate change, contributing less than 4% of global emissions. Yet they are suffering some of the worst consequences. The AfDB estimates that Africa loses up to 15% of its potential GDP as a result of climate-related impacts.
Climate change, as we heard in the first opening session, is devastating the economies of Africa. The continent, which accounts for only 3% in terms of historical carbon emissions, suffers disproportionately from the negative effects of climate change. The continent loses $7 to $15 billion annually due to climate change, and the trajectory is that that's probably going to get to $50 billion by 2030.
Addressing climate change and promoting a green transition is fundamental for Africa's sustainable development. But this will require mobilizing substantial resources.
This year of the global stocktake, we need every country and every stakeholder united in solidarity on this issue, alongside mitigation, adaptation, and of course, loss and damage. Addressing climate change is more than a set of numbers. It is more than meeting goals. It is about people who deserve a better future for their families.
We can and probably we must question the ability of the global financial architecture to serve the needs of the world, especially the needs and aspirations of developing countries, especially Africa.
Africa's needs must never be forgotten. Those were the final words from the President of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina.